Okay, it's a live video, but I'm just gonna start talking no matter who's in here or not. Um, Strange thing, because I never really go live, and I was starting to go to my vehicle to make this video, and some just told me to go live, so let's just roll with it. For some reason, it just kind of hit me earlier when I was listening to videos on YouTube that this may be one of my harder hitting videos because I know that there are many things that plague the modern person, that plagues the modern man, the modern woman. One thing is the fear of what people may have to say about them, the fear of what other people may be thinking. And I have this feeling, because this isn't scripted, I have a feeling that I will be getting back to that later on. But the true meaning of life, simply put, you already have it in you. Unfortunately, we live in this society where if you don't have something, if you just don't feel something internally, if you don't own something, society will provide it for you. You know what I mean? Like if you don't have an identity, society will provide it for you. If you don't have a mission, society will provide it for you. If you don't have a purpose, if you don't have a destination, any of those things, society will provide it for you. For some people, not a bad thing, not a bad deal. You know what I mean? Gotta get in some type of motion. But for a lot of us, and myself included, we find ourselves leading this quiet life of desperation because we know internally that there's something missing. Well, we want something more. We want something deeper, you know? And, we shouldn't feel guilty for wanting just a little bit more, for wanting our lives to make sense. We didn't ask for this, you know? We want to feel like we're here for a reason. We want to make a difference. We want to be seen. But without further ado, the meaning of life, simply put, and I'm going to elaborate on it, okay? I promise. You are the meaning of life. Now, I said before that every person, they have their own culture. They are their own culture. And what each individual brings to this existence, nobody else can. And that's why, as I'm getting older and I'm reaching a level of maturity, I'm understanding more and more that you have to learn more about what makes you tick. You have to learn more about what it means to be you. You get to decide. You know what I mean? Even within the confines of your perceived limitations, you get to decide. And that a person, quite literally in a prison, in a jail cell, they'll get to the bare minimum of what they can control. Okay, you took everything away from me. You say, well, really, they took everything away from themselves because of choices, but you took everything away from me. You put me in a jail cell you put me in a cell for 23 hours out of the day. You control what I eat, when I get to go outside, all of these things. You decide if I have to go to a different prison or not. And some of these guys say, well, you can't control how much I work out. You know, you can't control how many reps I put in. Or like I heard, which I thought was very interesting. Well, you can't control my breaths, so I'm gonna control my breath. These are mine. You can't take this away from me. But for the rest of us who aren't in prisons and we have a lot more options, we get to decide. And I realize that we overlook a lot of things that we take them for granted because it's kind of like a layup. Like most of us, we haven't gone a great deal of our lives starving. Like for example, I say my whole life, I don't think I ever starved. You know, I don't think I've ever. If ever I did, it was just my fault. Maybe I wasn't that hungry or whatever. But I was just thinking because I was like making some tomato soup or whatever, and it just seemed so insignificant. So tomato soup, but it's like it was a choice that I made. I got to choose to get tomato soup, and it's like even if I didn't get to choose to have tomato soup, and all I had, hey, what's up, man? If all I had was tomato soup, hey, how you doing? If all I had was tomato soup, well, that's better than a lot of people out there on the streets holding up signs, being at the mercy of others, you know. And I figure what a great time for gratitude, not just because of that, but just because I get to have some type of sustenance. I get to be on a autopilot or whatever, you know, and then just think nothing of it because oh, that's just my life. I get to eat tomato soup, you know, with toast that I, you know, uh, hey, how you doing? But you get to decide, okay? You get to decide what your life is going to be about, okay? You get to carve out yourself like if you play these video games. Yeah, first string. Yeah, you so you play these video games and you get to build up your characters in such a way that's favorable to you. You know, you like the way that they look is from an aesthetic purpose. You build up your character to make them strong. Yo, it's your birthday. Happy birthday. Well, all of the haze coming in, the highs are come on now. Who sent you? Please like and subscribe. I wanna get to know more about you. I wanna chat more. But you get to build up your characters. And the same could be said for yourself. The issue that we find, and I kind of alluded to it earlier, is that we see the world around us and we try to measure ourselves up to them. Thank you. We try to measure up to the society around us. And I believe that that in itself is a problem. My day has been great, man. Thank you. How has your day been so far? But we try to measure up to a society that was never really built for us anyway. Okay, simply put, it was never built for us, and that's where a lot of our problems come from. So we feel insignificant if we don't line up with the society around us. Okay, so within the parameters of our obligations, because we're placed in our own realm, but we still have to abide by the rules around us, and we do have some type of physical limitations. But within that, we find our medium, we find our harmony by way of the way that I go about things. So if I don't necessarily know what to do with my life, I start thinking about what I need to cut out of my life. Yeah, you say what rules the limit does not exist. I like that. I appreciate that. So I'm not necessarily saying that oh there are rules that we must abide by. You know, I'm not saying that, and I'm also speaking candidly. But that's actually my point. You are the beast stream. Thank you. Yeah, but that's actually my point. Is that when you get to a point where you start making your own rules, you're winning because again, like I said before maybe some of you came into the stream, you have your own culture. You create your own culture. This is what I stand for. You know what I mean? And it's like if you don't have your own culture, you know, one will be given to you. It's like when you go to court, you can't afford a lawyer. When you get arrested, you can't afford a lawyer. Thank you. They give you a defense attorney. You know, that's what you get by default. You didn't pick them, but hey, it's all you could get. What's my favorite food? I don't have one. I really don't. I'm grateful to be able to sustain myself. Okay. But when I think about like my culture, for example, and what I stand for, I don't let I don't let the media get to decide for me. For example, the media doesn't get to decide for me. My mom doesn't get to decide for me. She gave birth to me. She doesn't get to decide for me. Nobody gets to decide for me. I get to decide for me. Okay? And so with that, who you blame has the power. So I don't blame anybody else. I blame myself. So I always keep the power in my hands. What would I define culture as? Simply put, it's just like your system. It's just the way you operate, it's your operating system. You know what I mean? This is how I do things. And a lot of people, they find themselves at somewhat of a fork in the road where their society, and then that's where you are, and you understand if you veer a little bit too right from society, you will be judged one way or the other. People may have certain things to say about you. Like, for example, me being a black man, if I listen to rock music, people may have something to say about that. But I listen to rock music. I don't only listen to rock music. I listen to whatever I want. That's my culture. My culture is I don't allow myself to be in a box. My culture is I'm fluid. You know what I mean? I'm fluid with my preferences. My preferences. Someday I might want to watch Western movies, shoot them up, bang, 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 bang. Other times I may just want to watch cartoons. Simple as that. I might just want to watch anime. Some days it's a no TV day. All right, I don't have to stick to a particular system. All right, other than what's going to sustain me. Okay, in my culture that I created, we stay active as long as possible, or I stay active as long as possible because I know that it's going to have residual effects. I know that when I reach a certain age, I'm going to look back at a time like this and was like, see, my culture is winning. Now, compare that to the culture of, let's say, living in America. I love it here, but it's a sickly place. It's by design, you know? It's it's by design. It's a system. Now, I said your culture is your operating system, the way America operates. It's a lot more to America than just that, so I don't want to relegate it to that, but it's a system, okay? And a lot of these companies are in bed with each other. You know, the food companies are in bed with the pharmaceutical companies. It's a whole thing. And so it kind of becomes a game. And I found out, as I was mentioning game earlier, you win a lot of games by not playing. You choose to go your own way. You play your own game. You get to decide. That's one thing that I like about video games. Especially like this open world thing. These simulations, they have utility, and quite literally, what you can practice out uh, in a simulation, you can bring over to your actual life. So it's like you get some practice, and I play a lot of chess every day, and it helps with that. It helps with my decision making. I've been feeling kind of hopeless lately. This was a nice thing to see. Well, yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, I've been there. Even sometimes in my day to day, no matter what I'm speaking on right now, sometimes I feel like that. He said, "Nah, you're Jack." Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna speak on that too. But yeah, I spend a lot of time alone, and sometimes it comes with loneliness. Sometimes I remember that being alone, not lonely, being alone is a part of my culture, because I know that there's so much I have to do in solitude. There's so much that's required of me that I need to be alone to do it. You know, I can't journal, for example, when people are talking to me. Look at this. It's March the whatever 6th, and I half the book already is filled up. Half the book, half this journal is filled. And I started at the January 31st. You know what I mean? A lot of that I have to do alone. This is how I game plan. I write down everything. I'm talking to myself. And I'm trying to, you know, tweak my performance here or there. I'm trying to self correct on the fly. My mom and dad broke up last night, so it's hard, but I've been trying to come down from. Wow, now I'm sorry to hear that, man. Uh, Sorry to hear that, Marjorie. He said. Uh, he said, "Nah, you're a jack." Oh yeah, let me respond to that. So yeah, my philosophy with that, as far as my culture goes, I have to do these things. It's not just about looking good or being strong. It's a part of it. Being strong is more important than how I look. But I understand that when I'm working out, I'm building up muscle. I'm building up my ligaments, and I'm building up strong bones. Last night, so I have this thing because I'm 33 years old. I'm about to be 34. I have this thing where, because like they say, oh, when you reach a certain age, your testosterone starts to go down, and then you get a little thrown off because by the world around you, you see a lot of these guys who are like really jacked, and you know that they take steroids over here, TRT over there, and then in the back of your mind, you're like, oh, as you reach your 30s, your testosterone levels start to go down, and then I do research on that, and it's like oh no, man! If as long as you keep up with your physical fitness, and you eat certain foods, and your body weight is a certain thing, you could keep your testosterone up, and you won't really be losing that much testosterone. But anyway, I say all that to say, like, it had me in this constant state of looking up videos, looking up proof, and I'll be looking up like a lot of older people in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, hundreds who are still like bodybuilding and things like that. So last night when I was like lying down my YouTube algorithm, because okay, so the CPU is based on the human brain, and so I believe that the algorithms that come on social media and YouTube, which is a great example, is based on the algorithm in the brain, is based on the mind. So my algorithm is finding ways to express itself by what I'm constantly seeking and constantly searching. So because of that, last night when I was just on YouTube looking for things to watch and add to my watch later. I saw like this track meet, like 100-meter race with all 90-year-olds, people who were 90 and above, and they were running. Not as fast as I would run, but they were running. Now, if you look back at your life, like if say fast forward and you find yourself at 90 years old and you're able to run 100 meters, wouldn't you be very proud of yourself? Isn't that what we want? But when we think 90, we think old and crippled and things like that, like just bedridden. Or average lifespan in America is like 78. So if you make it to 90, that's what you think, like, oh, bedridden and stuff like that. But it doesn't have to be that way. And in my culture, I do my best to ensure that I can make it to 90 as healthy as possible. Certain sacrifices have to be made to make sure that I get there, but I'm doing it right now. I'm self correcting as the days go by. Let's see. I haven't been going to the gym lately because I got vertigo. Um, okay. Well, first of all, maybe you should get that checked out for sure. But I think that may be an ear problem. It could be an ear problem. You might have some sinus issues. So you got to be mentally strong too. Yeah, for sure. That's why that's why when we talk about the meaning of life, in order to really have this type of mental strength, is that you have to one, you have to choose your battles, and that every little firefight is not for you, but also you want to put yourself in positions that in your practice, because I was talking about like you place yourself in certain simulations and how certain simulations help build you up. You put yourself in positions where you have no choice but to become mentally tough. So that could easily mean going against the grain. Like for example, a big part of why I do work out. So I do this thing where, and please steal this from me. Set the timer. I do this for a lot of things. Set the timer for 15 minutes or 10 minutes, but 15 minutes. And like yesterday, I was doing something. I was like, I'm gonna call this fight like crazy. So for 15 minutes straight, I'm working out nonstop. It's a cycle. So I'll do leg exercises, then I'll do arm exercises, and I'll do some type of core exercises, and nonstop. I'm not going to a certain number. I'm going till I can anymore. All right. If you do that over a sustained period of time, you will see results. Okay, and then you just sustain that with your meals and your amino acids and all that. I feel like to be physically strong, you have to be mentally strong. Yeah, guess so. Maybe I was about to flip it and say, to be mentally strong, you got to be physically strong, but that's not true. Because I know some people who might or aren't as physically strong as I am, and definitely tougher than me. So yeah, got to be mentally strong. But also, there's this way you could just kind of like trick yourself into working out, into getting fit. Like for example, I don't like running, but if you put a basketball in front of me, I'll run all day. You know, and I don't really like squats, but if I'm playing basketball, if you especially if you haven't played basketball in a long time, all that jumping, boy, it'll do something to your legs. So I try to make it like a curiosity thing, just kind of ease myself into it. I don't even put pressure on myself. I don't even go to the gym. I work out at home or at the park or whatever. And also I make it very easy for me to do. You know what I'm saying? You're like, if you want to form a habit, you make it easier for you to do. So before I even leave the house, I have to pass my gym. I got this old complete gym where it's like 100 pounds max, where you could do like leg extensions and curls and pull down, all those things. I don't even need to rely on that, but I place it right there in front of me. But yeah, I do it just from like a simple thing. Like maybe I'm like listening to music and I'm already moving, and then like you're just like, okay, this is a good time to do some squats or whatever. You do something like, so you just start like playing around. Don't gotta be perfect. Like you just start playing around like then before you know it, you like bouncing around and like damn. If I just stay down there, it's kind of a little easy. So now you're doing like squats with even coming up all the way, but you're like still jumping. And then it's like working your like hamstrings and your glutes. And what's gonna happen is like as your blood is pumping, like you building up some type of like adrenaline. So like you kind of work yourself to failure. Then after that, you like, all right, I'm gonna do some push-ups now. Then you do push-ups till your arms get tired. Then you like, I'm gonna start doing some crunches. Boom, 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 boom. And then you just do this whole circuit. And you keep going around. You could do that for like 15 minutes. Why am I tired already? See, I went to the doctor. I have been feeling better because I got some good medicine to get over it. Yeah, basketball is amazing. Yeah, I love basketball. I haven't been playing much because a lot of my physical time has been going to just strength training, and also I was playing kickball. You know, kickball season about to start back up too. I get a great workout doing that. But there's so much to be said about the choices that we make, you know, to be able to make our own choices, then be able to live with it, and to separate ourselves from groupthink. And that's very important when you talk about your own culture. When you talk about your meaning of life, is to separate yourself from what they would want from you, what people expect from you. Oh yeah, from what people may expect from you. And you have your own standard. You set your own precedent. Because what you will find is that the standards that you set for yourself when you don't even really consider society and just what you would want for yourself, your standards will actually be a lot higher than what society would even want out of you. And yet people will look down on you if you're above them as far as your standards. It's the weirdest thing. It's like me trying to look down on a fucking airplane. How do you do that? Do you have any tips for basketball? Yeah. Assume every shot is a miss. I got this reputation at the park. They call me hustle man. Like I never stop moving. Okay, so I'm chasing down rebounds. That's a big thing. I'm 5'5", by the way. I'm always the shortest person out there, and I'm always hustling. Like I'm really fast still at 33. I'm probably faster now than I ever been. I don't know. But yeah, just hustle. Like you get to decide. Like I got this unorthodox style, so some people they make people make fun of me because maybe my shot is a little unorthodox. People always got something to say when you are unorthodox. Say you're 4'9" at 14. Well, yeah, you're not done growing, I don't think. But to ensure that, I think this is a great time that you prioritize your strength training. Okay, so this is especially doing exercises that will stretch you out. You want to build up your testosterone, and so you do some pull-ups. Hang on that bar. I actually, strangest thing, last year I think I grew an inch. I'm pretty sure because it's the woman that I was dealing with. We was kind of like, like here with it, and then all of a sudden I just like whoop. Maybe, but that's because it's not because my legs grew or anything like that. I think it was my back. Like my back was so compressed that when I was doing all of these pull ups, it kind of stretched my back out. It stretched everything out. So I had an inch hidden away. You know, maybe even more. I don't know, but I definitely grew at least an inch. Which I mean, so maybe I'm not 5'5". I'm so used to saying I'm 5'5". I'm probably actually like 5'6" or something. But it doesn't matter, and that's another thing. That's another thing. When you talk about the meaning of life, do I have any dieting tips? I'll get at that. Um, in this society, they want you to feel insignificant if you don't reach a certain thing. Like a lot of women won't look my way because of my height. So should I let that discourage me? Should I let that weigh me down? Should I just like, well, God hates me or whatever? Like, no, because for all my shortcomings, I make up for it in so many other ways, and then so it's just like take it or leave it. Like, there's nothing I can do about it. There's something I can do about it. Like, I know that there's some guys that I know there's a couple guys around my height. They wanted to get like height surgery. You break their legs and they put a rod on there and they go through all this extensive rehab or whatever so they can have a small torso and just like a long legs and all that so they can be 6 feet. And it's like, bro, no, 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 not in this life. I won't be doing that. Do you have any dieting tips? My diet is not the cleanest, but I know when to stay away from things. So it's just a matter of like, if you're going to eat the bad stuff, limit your exposure to it. Like for example, what's it? 2025. Over 10 years, I haven't had any pork or any beef. Okay, so I limit that up. Well, I don't have that at all. I limit fried foods. Really, I want to be off fried food. Sometimes I get myself in this trap. If I go too long without eating, I kind of settle for what's around me. Or if I happen to go to like my grandma's house or something like that, my mom made something, I haven't had anything to eat in a while, you know, now I probably will. I've been feeling pretty mentally down, not wanting to do anything. Well, when I feel like that, well, there's a couple things that I do. I'll start journaling and get it all out. I realize that like when you feel down, start doing what the happy people do. And what do I mean by that? What's something that happy people would do that you overlook? They do chores. They do chores, because it's all about staying in movement. They do chores, they go for walks, they journal, they exercise. And the reason why I didn't say exercise first is because there's so much inertia you have to fight. Like there's so much gravity you have to work against to even get to that point. But me, when I'm like that, I'm laying down, I might put the YouTube on. Cause I'm not necessarily looking to be distracted. I'm just putting something on. And I'm liable because the way my algorithm is set up, I'm liable to hear something that's just gonna like perk me up. Or like if I'm like, I don't really feel like working out right now. The way my algorithm is set up on YouTube, I might see people working out at the park, and I'm like, I can't let them get it without me, you know. So I'm working out. But yeah, I listen to just a lot of information. I'm bound to come across something that's like, yeah, well, maybe if I just do 10 minutes of this, like I want to do something, but if I just do, I'm telling you, probably the number one thing you could really do is just start writing. Like, whatever. Write down all your feelings, bro. Let down all your frustrations. Like, be a squeaky wheel. Be a squeaky wheel. Yeah, they say making your bed is a goal accomplished. Yeah, and I've heard that. If you look behind me, well, you can't really see, but my bed is not made. I don't make my bed, but I do clean up the my environment. Like I just be on go. But yeah, I've heard that from. I have to leave for a long time. Oh no, it's fine. Yeah, well, who was it that Navy admiral who wrote a book on that? Yeah, like make your bed. But yeah, you want to start, just start your day off accomplishing something. It doesn't have to be a big thing. I got to the point where I start jotting down certain things that I do, and I jot them down in my journal, and I put them as accomplishments. You know, if I got into an early meditation, if I got my daughter to school, I'm writing it down. I mean, I always get her to school on time, but I overlook that, because when I think about like, damn, why am I not getting anything done? It's because I was getting things done. I just didn't count it because I always do it. But that's a big part of it. It's a big part of my morning is getting my daughter ready. And if I don't like the amount of time I'm left with when it's all said and done, maybe I should get up earlier. You know. So, in summation, and I'll try to see if I have anything else to add to it. You give life meaning, okay? And you got to be a gatekeeper. This is your life. When it comes to your life, you must be a gatekeeper. Okay. You decide how it's going to be done. You have to be a pioneer, you know? You may find yourself doing things or find yourself wanting to do things nobody around you has ever done. And that's okay. And it could be scary. And there's no clear path as far as you can see, as far as what you want out of life. But you go on that route, you take that path, you be as conscious as possible. You see what's going on. You see what went wrong, what went right, and you self correct. All right, but also because I did so much speaking out against like the world around us, that doesn't mean that you can't take in information. Taking information from many sources. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do now. If I had to write down a bunch of people that I'm inspired by or whatever, you probably wouldn't even see them people in the same room. You know what I mean? I've always kind of been like this. Like even as a kid, I kind of gravitated towards who I gravitated towards. The cool kids, I would hang out with the cool kids. I would hang out with the nerds, the geeks, or whatever. It never mattered to me. It was like if we get along, we get along. Fast forward, that's very much who I am now. It's like I build a rapport with anybody, bro. As long as you're not out here in the world harming people, especially harming women and harming children, we get along just fine, man. Like we can find common ground. That's what this life is really all about. You know, the way that my life is set up, the way that my culture is set up, I'll spend a lot of time on my own, pretty much just doing whatever I want to do. And when I come out into the world, I just hey, I just link up. We link up. All right. I don't see my existence as any burden. I'm not sorry for who I am. I used to be. I used to be ashamed. I used to be ashamed. I used to hate myself. But I realized that I only really hated myself is because I didn't want to face myself. I didn't believe in myself. I didn't trust myself. I felt like a failure when I compared myself to the world around me. If you compare yourself to the world around you, if you compare yourself to anybody, you're going to feel like a failure. You honestly, people say, "Oh, you should compare yourself to where you were." Like, yeah, yeah, if it helps your narrative, but if you look back at your life and like, "Damn, I really fucked up. I used to be him and now I'm not him." It's like it's a waste. Just be present. Just be clear. It's like I wrote in my journal earlier. I was like, it's easier to float in calm waters, and then my next thought was cooler heads shall prevail. So do everything you can to just be cool, man. Be cool. Flow. Be like water. Be formless. Take shape. Everything you do, just do it to the best of your ability. If you're going to watch paint dry, moisten up them eyes and don't blink. You know what I mean? It's like do everything to the best of your ability. When I decided to make my bed and open my window in the morning, I got a lot happier. But sometimes it takes help from antidepressants. Yeah, I used to take them, but I just kind of threw them away. And just decided to go without. Nothing against people who do them. I just didn't like how it made me feel. Kind of made things worse for me. Um, so I'm kind of like afraid of them. So I was just like relentless and just facing it without it. I remember one time 10 years ago. Um, I didn't have health insurance, so the only way I could really get like meds for my mental health was to go to the ER. I remember one of the last times because they were giving me like Xanax, and I remember damn, the last time that I had got some medication from the hospital, they wouldn't give it to me, and I can't remember why. And I was begging, man. I started begging. I was crying, bro, because my anxiety was so bad. Like the anxiety attacks were so bad, and I just wanted it to stop. But I formed like this crazy dependency on it, where it's like I couldn't go without it. Like I felt so foggy. Like I would be, and then I would be like keep having dreams. I was having a heart attack, and I remember it was like January 2015, and I like spent the whole month in bed, bro. Like in bed. And at this time, I'm 23 years old. 23. It's a whole world out there, and I'm spending the whole month in bed, feeling sorry for myself. When it got to the end of that month, I was like, man, fuck these pills. I'm not gonna wait till I run out. I'm done, and I'm just gonna face life as is. And I can't really speak to a happy ending. Like, oh, it was so great from then. Like, no, it was a lot of ups and a lot of downs. But it all led me to where I am right now. So I almost don't even want to say that I'm grateful for it, but it happened. I survived it. I'm still here. I'm definitely better because of things like this. Yeah, one thing that helped me cope is listening to music. Yeah, oh, for sure. And I'm listening to all types of music. Uh, so if I had to pick an album for you to listen to, just because like I got so many, I'll say you listen to The Greatest by the Bee Gees, which was like a collection of their music from like 73 to like maybe 76 or something like that. So you like listen to that pretty much all the way through, and like it's a straight vibe, man. I work out with them. I work out listening to them. There are people that are inspired by ourselves, like we are inspired by others. Yeah. So as I'm moving along, as I'm progressing in life, I realize, like we're living like the hero's journey, that people will look to us for guidance, even when it doesn't feel like it, because it's not even based on what we say. It's based on how we conduct ourselves, how we show up. So yeah, some people may be looking to us as like maybe like we're unicorns, or this person is special just because he's special and not really knowing the work that's been put into it. Others will look to you for guidance. Like the layup is okay. Our children are going to look to us for guidance. That's the easy one. But when we start to make more of a, let's say, a name for ourselves, the more we put ourselves out there, the more we have social proof, the more we build up a body of work, um, the more people will kind of gravitate towards us. You know what I mean? So there's no need in trying to feel insignificant because we haven't reached this status yet. We aren't these legends that's being promoted on TV. And of course, there's a lot that comes with that, They're being pushed to us for a reason, not for all the good reasons. But besides that, we don't need to be there to feel like we're important. We don't have to be there to make a difference, you know? Oh, I didn't even notice I was doing it. It said pin clicking in audio has got a beat. If you were talking about me, yeah. I'm so fucking happy I saw this live, to be blunt. Yeah, hey, look, thank you, man. I started. I don't know if you heard me say this, but I started to just make a video talk about the meaning of life. That's all it was. And honestly, I don't even know if I addressed the things I wanted to address, or I did. I think so, but a lot more. And just someone was telling me, just go live. You know, I don't always really like to go live because I never know, like, oh, should I just wait for a little bit to start talking, even though it's gonna play back later on. Um, but I'm glad I did. Also, I didn't know if people were just going to pop in, because I don't know how YouTube does things. Apparently, they show your lives to people who aren't even subscribed. So uh, that's good to know. Because I also like film um, our workouts when we're at the park on my. But YouTube has this way of like, if people are playing music, they just strip all the audio. I believe that's what happened. Or no, that I just won't get paid for it, which is fine. I think that's what happened. But on TikTok or whatever, it's kind of like anything goes, and you get hundreds of people watching. But yeah, and so you should expect a lot of that from me as it starts to warm up. I'm in a community of guys who train, which is a big reason why I've been able to make these gains that I have, and probably more importantly, uh, I've been able to put in some work when I'm by myself, because I know that when I see them again, they're gonna notice that I haven't been slacking. Because I feel like I kind of owe it to the gang because we invested in each other. But so that's very important, by the way. When we talk about the meaning of life, it's just don't worry about who you not vibing with. find your tribe. And the best way to find your tribe is like it's less about your mouthpiece. It helps. Okay, you voice what you want and all these things, and you let it be known. But your action is more important. Like if you want to hang out with people who play basketball, for example, go to where people play basketball, the basketball court, and show up. Multiple times. So there's a lot of places where I show up multiple times and I'm respected because they know me and they know that I'll put in work in this regard or that regard. Like people know me at the park. I'm treated as one of the guys because I train often with the guys. Okay. The same thing with the basketball court. Even now, I haven't been on the basketball court much lately, but the guys who frequent the place, if I show up, they know who I am. Okay. For work I've been putting in over 2 decades, and I say putting in work, but it's just playing around, just showing my face, and those are the choices that I made. I could have just been in the house playing the video game, or I could have been doing anything in the world, but chose to be there and playing basketball with the guys because that's what I wanted to do. I go work out with the guys because that's what I wanted to do. He said, I hate copyright. No, no, I get it because, people, they put in this work, they want every dollar, you know what I mean? Money hard to come by with this music stuff. So I get it. I just came across this and I'm so happy I did. Well, I appreciate that, man. But please, I think you said you subscribe. I check my page. I got hundreds of videos. I don't play around. You know, I see people on basketball court at the rec center, but I usually just watch them people play. Well, why you just watching? Why don't you join in? Do something. Usually when I have to watch, I just it's because just too much going on. Too many people got next, and after that, no reason to play other people's video. One can explain the information with freeze frame. I'm scared. I mean, it's okay to be scared, but what are you scared of? Embarrassing yourself? This life is gonna be over soon enough, man. Only thing that really matters is what you put into this life. And very often, what hits people the most towards the end of their life is the regret. The regret of not doing anything, not doing the things that they wanted to do. They care too much about people's opinions. They care too much about failing. But if you truly feel like you've been down and out enough, it just kind of gives you that certain edge. But it's like, and I've asked this question, and I asked this question to myself. It's like, what are you trying to preserve? Truly, like, what are you trying to preserve? Are you trying to preserve your poverty? Are you trying to preserve your failure? Are you trying to preserve your mediocrity? What are you trying to preserve? You truly have so much more to gain than you have to lose. And one thing that you will realize is like you're not at a risk of really losing anything. You are you have an opportunity to learn and to grow. And of course, they said the road to hell is paved with good intentions, but the road to success is full of bumps and potholes. I just realized that. It seems very counterintuitive, counterproductive, which is why a lot of people will shy away. But and I guess that's why the road less traveled is a thing, because it's usually the path you shy away from, the one you probably should take. You know, I imagine until you reach this kind of deep understanding of who you are, and then you realize that now, because you've been recalibrated, a lot of paths that you shy away from is kind of for good reason. I stand tall knowing I don't lie, cheat, or steal. That's so I do not have any dead weight to carry, and no one can start again. And one can start again anytime. I like that. I like that. Yeah. You do no harm to others, and you carry a light weight. You know, no heavy burdens of that comes with leading a life of no integrity, a life of shystiness. Let's see if there's anything I missed before I go. You have many moments throughout the day to take in your life. And I find it to be quite a waste to have people say, "Oh, I can't wait till this is over. I can't wait till this shift is over." And I get it. You don't want to be here. But everywhere you go, there you are. So that no matter what you do, bring the support to yourself. Be an ally to yourself. Perhaps you never truly are alone. It feels like it. You're in a place where you feel alone, where you feel like, you're the only one who understands you. And everybody around you, they're strangers, no matter where you are. And so you owe it to yourself to be a true ally. This is the meaning of life. Hope this message finds you well. Yeah, exactly. So no matter where you are, you be an ally to yourself. And you pick yourself up like you would pick up a friend. It sounds a bit insane, but I don't know why. It's all about your pep talk. Because if that's insane to be your own friend, to be your own ally, to talk yourself up, then it's extremely insane that when things go wrong, you want to call yourself a dumbass, or you say you're stupid, or you can't get right. That's insane. Why would you do that? Like, why would you do that? Don't you know that life is going on? You just want to keep making things worse. You want to make things progressively worse. If you're going to get cut, leave it with one cut. You don't want the cut of one thing happening and then the cut of dwelling on it and the cut of cursing yourself. All right? So to wrap this all up, decide. Decide what you won't stand for anymore. Refuse to be a victim. Refuse to be a slave. Understand, if I had to lay out one purpose for you, understand that you are a creator. It's what you're here to do. I'm not religious, but one thing that stands out to me in the Bible, I can't believe it's still in there, is Psalm 82:6, I believe. And it says, "Ye are gods." It says it right there. If you say it to your regular everyday Christian, they would freak out. But it says it in your Bible that you are gods. You are creators, okay? Own your life to the best of your ability. Become a master of yourself. Know everything there is to know about you. Like you know everything about your favorite artist or your favorite sports team, you know, or your favorite TV show. Know everything there is to know about you. Fortify and optimize. All right, best wishes.